The thing that makes David unique is that even though he has special challenges, he is completely and passionate about just anything that he is involved with, especially sports. He can tell me about the football game. He can tell me what the things are about it. He knows a lot of the players. He knows about interceptions. He's just remarkable about remembering names and their numbers and what they've done. He gets very, very involved in a game. If they win, he is just thoroughly excited. He is throwing his arms up in the air and yelling, "Wahoo!" And if they ever lose, I just hate to be in the same room with him because he gets so down and so upset that they haven't practiced enough to be able to win the game. So he's just a full enthusiast about soccer, about basketball, about football. Baseball he's not interested in because it's too slow. Golf, absolutely too slow. But those three are the ones he's interested in. He got interested in sports when he was in high school. In high school, Coach Wall was wonderful in allowing him to be the manager of the football team. So he would have water ready and towels ready for the guys. And about the same time, and that was during his senior year at high school, he started to become interested in the Utes. And from then on, he was just a Ute fan. I don't know if it was because of the color red, and Bountiful High had the color red, or if it was just because he had started to become interested in the game at that point. He is the biggest Utah fan. He's met Coach Whittingham, and Coach Whittingham has been awesome about giving him some free tickets. And I think one of David's real big strengths is that he is so appreciative. If there's a game and they've done a good job, he'll go right up to the coach, even if he has to wait for a while, and tell him what a great job he did and what a great job the team did. And because he's just so into this and so grateful, he sometimes gets free things from the coach. I don't know why exactly he has this intensity, but maybe it's because he can't do those things himself, so he kind of lives vicariously through the people who are playing those sports. But he is a huge, huge fan of the Utes, not the Y. The Y is a bad word, and whenever I've said, well, the Y is good too, he says, "Mom, don't you understand? The Utes are the best." And so I have to agree that the Utes are the best. But he has the same passion about the football team as well as the basketball, and also about Rael with the soccer.
I think Dave is unique because he's a friend to most people if they're willing to be friendly back to him. And he has a personality that's easy to get along with once you talk to him and get to know him. And when you talk to him and get to know him, he likes to talk about sports. And so he has a great knowledge of sports and the current players and the current teams, and he has a passion for certain teams more than others. What separates Dave from other fans would be his desire for collectibles. I'd say I'm an average fan and I don't collect too many things, but Dave likes to, especially with the University of Utah, have the latest clothing, have some unique items like camping chairs and lights and lanterns and things for his room that he wants to get eventually. Anything that the UU ringtones on his phone. And so I think that sets Dave apart a little bit, because most fans might get a jersey, and Dave has a jersey, but he would go to the spring training football game and get the players to sign the jersey. So I think that makes it a little more unique than the average fan. Well, I remember he's come over to my house a few times, and we've mostly watched the football games for the University of Utah, and because that's his favorite team. And I think it might have been for one of the one of the bowl games that we were watching, and it might have even been the Sugar Bowl when we played Alabama. I'm not exactly sure, but you know, we were watching the game and Utah was behind, and we were still cheering him on. And David always say, "Well, we can do better, and next play, you know, we'll do better, and we'll tackle him, or we'll, you know, stop him, or we'll actually get a first down." And so he always had faith in the team, even though we were behind most of the game. And then at the end, we were able to pull it out and win it. And so that made it even more memorable because, you know, we stuck with it and just didn't give up on the team because they were down and behind.
I believe that the reason that David has so much disdain for BYU is because he's been teased so much about liking the Utes that he's just kind of built up this resentment toward the people who keep teasing him about it. But other than that, I think he would vote for BYU if they weren't playing for the Utes. There was a fun time last year where a friend of ours invited him to have a bet about the BYU-Utah game. And this fellow was definitely BYU. And David said, sure, he was going to bet with him that the Utes would win. And I said, David, we don't bet. And he said, I want to bet. So the bet was that David was going, if the Utes win, David was going to get a free Brazilian dinner from this guy because his wife was Brazilian. The second part of it was that if BYU won, David was going to have to wear a blue BYU shirt for a week. And boy, that was something David didn't want to do, but he was so adamant that the Utes were going to win that he took the bet. Well, it was a few weeks before the game, and as it got closer and closer, David got more and more nervous about it and saying, I hope the Utes win, I hope the Utes win. Well, it came to the time when the Utes were playing against BYU, and we were watching from our TV at home, and David was right on the edge of his seat, just watching the whole thing. He was so into the game, and he kept getting upset whenever the Y would make a play, and then he'd hooray and jump all over if the Utes were doing well. Well, it was a good thing that the Utes happened to win that time because he was sweating. He was so upset because he really was afraid he was going to have to wear a BYU shirt for a week, and that would have really embarrassed him, especially with all the friends that he happens to pal around with that are pals of the Y. So he, since then, has said that he was not going to do any more bets.
Because they're the best team, because they're best players, because I go to all the games, because I get free tickets. Yeah, I like all the sports.